Hello, I'm Sheriff Kevin Rambosk, and I want to welcome you to On Scene.
Today we're walking around some public parking lots here in North Naples, just making contact with citizens, telling them how important it is that they lock their vehicle doors and also keep their valuables hidden and away from plain view. Even though Naples is a great place to live and it's beautiful here, it's so important for the public to work with us and help us by being safe and following common safety practices such as locking their doors and keeping their valuables hidden. We provided the public with information packets today detailing to them how they can be better prepared and secure their property better so they're not a victim of a crime in a public parking lot. It was very well received, and the public advised that they're going to be spreading that message to their friends and family. So this way we're working together to keep Collier safe.
Was allegedly texting on her cell phone when she lost control of her car and collided with another vehicle.
Traffic-related deaths. Half of those killed were texting the moment before the crash.
Are taking their eyes off the road, putting everyone around them in danger.
On his phone, crashes into police cars and emergency vehicles, killing one officer.
Don't text, don't call, don't email, eat, or groom yourself. When you're behind the wheel of a vehicle, just drive. That's it. It's advice we hear all the time. Now the Collier County Sheriff's Office is launching a new campaign reminding motorists of the dangers of distracted driving. Beginning February 17th, we'll be sharing safety tips and statistics on our social media accounts, through print and television ads, and on electronic nose boards located throughout Collier County. You can follow our campaign online with the hashtag #CCSOJustDrive. We're launching the campaign during season when our roads become even busier with part-time residents and visitors. Last year, 10% of all crashes throughout Collier County were caused by some kind of distracted driving, and more than 100 people were injured in one of those crashes when a driver used their cell phone or other electronic communication device. In 2015, 8 people died in distracted driving crashes throughout Collier County. An additional 484 people were injured in a total of 618 distracted driving crashes. That's according to the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Throughout the state, distracted driving crashes accounted for about 12% of all crashes the same year. If you're driving at a rate of 60 miles per hour, it takes just 5 seconds of looking at your phone to travel the distance of a football field. Teenagers are more likely than other drivers to be involved in a crash and to be distracted at the wheel. A 2016 study by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety found that 60% of teen crashes are caused by distracted driving. Surprisingly, it's not cell phones that are the biggest culprits. Teens are most likely to be distracted by their passengers. That's why CCSO also offers the Teen Driver Challenge. One of our main focuses in the teen driving program is that of distracted driving. Our goal is to try to educate our students and teach them the dangers associated with distracted driving so we cut back on the amount of accidents that take place here in Collier County.
This is a program that's open to our high school age kids who either have a permit or their license. What we try to do in this program is it's set up through the FSA, and it's geared towards helping kids understand the laws a little bit better, understand the distractions that are out there, and it's a 2-day class that we put on through our Youth Relations Bureau.
But teenagers aren't the only ones guilty of texting while driving.
All age groups are crashing because of distractions, from teens to over 50s. Continue to crash because they're not paying attention to the roads because they're doing something else while they're driving.
To learn more about the Collier County Sheriff's Office campaign, visit us online at colliersheriff.org. We'll be passing out window clings with the campaign slogan and offering tips during traffic stops.
Hi, I'm Doug Henry, Sheriff of Florida's Collier County, here to tell you about a group of my deputies, junior deputies in this case, a league of over 500 boys, organized for the sole purpose of avoiding rather than curing juvenile delinquency. We're proud of the fine record established in Collier County by our young people, but we know that a fast-growing community like ours, we have to work to maintain that record. The planning of the Sheriff's Junior Deputies League began in 1961. We decided upon a program of monthly meetings, some to be held at the city and county offices, some to be held at the different schools in the county. During these meetings, different law enforcement agency officers are introduced to the boys. They explain the duties of their agency and the method of performing them. In this manner, each boy becomes familiar with the many agencies in the county. It provides the boys with an understanding and respect for law and its enforcement. Each boy is issued a membership card and badge, which makes him eligible for all the league activities, one of the most popular being overnight camping trips. Our special bus arrives at the schools about noon on Saturday, where the boys are waiting with their camping gear. Our camping program is held twice a year with 5 weekend stays during each session. With everyone aboard, it's goodbye to family and friends, and hello to adventure as we take off for camp. When we arrive at camp, the boys are given the rules and regulations for their stay. For any offenders, it's a quick trip home. In camp life, it's every man or boy, as the case may be, for himself. While the boys are setting up, our staff of volunteer counselors meet for another briefing session. It takes a lot of planning to keep 100 boys busy and interested. Hamburgers in the air, it's not hard to locate the boys. No second calls needed. As you have seen, some of our activities are for teaching, and some are for just plain fun. That's the way we planned it.
Because we want our junior deputies to understand our work as law enforcement people, and just as important, we want them to know that we are their friends. Thank you, Sheriff Hendry. The Junior Deputy program you started more than 50 years ago is as important today as it was then. In the years since, Sheriff Rogers, Sheriff Hunter, Collier County deputies, the Junior Deputy League Board of Directors, and I, Sheriff Kevin Rambosk, have embraced your Junior Deputy program as it grew from 50 participants to nearly 1,000 today. In addition, we've expanded information, safety, and prevention programs for the thousands of young people now participating. The program reinforces positive relationships with law enforcement and prepares our young people for their lives ahead. We are as committed today to fulfilling Sheriff Hendry's and our community's vision of investing in the future of our young people, and with your help, we will continue to be successful. Thank you, everyone.
One vessel. Did you get a given the briefing? What did you want?
Recently, units from the Sheriff's Office Special Operations Unit conducted a search and rescue training in conjunction with Fish and Wildlife. The training was scenario-based training, and it was meant to simulate a lost kayaker. The scenario was a kayaker left from Port of the Islands and eventually was having a medical issue. Units were dispatched from Special Operations and went to the area and did a joint search. The units that were present were Aviation, the Marine Unit, and the Agriculture Unit. And we used each of those in different capacities to find the lost kayaker.
What we did, we took all three of the units together and we actually put a buoy out there. We gave them some general coordinates, general areas to look, and the marine and the airboat that we used, and we also had some mud boats. We were able to go out there and those guys started searching, and then as soon as the helicopter got on scene, they were able to locate it, and we were able to direct the boats into the rescuer to get them there.
We see a lot of lost kayakers or kayakers who go beyond their ability. They'll leave from an area and not take into account the wind and the tide, and then as they're trying to get back, they're fighting that wind and tide, become exhausted, and just can't make it back. They're not necessarily lost, but they can't make it back on their own, so we'll have to go and pick them up and take them back to where they launched from.
When you have aviation is looking down. They have a wide area to cover and a quicker time. So it doesn't take us as long. We can find a target right away where they're trying to go through canals or mangroves and they can't see ahead. Where we can see it, we can find it, and then we can direct them to the scene or to rescue the person that's lost. When we're doing our searches at night, we have what we call a thermal imager, which is in the front of the helicopter. The thermal imager basically works off of heat. So if a person's body heat, we'll be able to see where they are. Where the marine units, if they're on the ground, or our ag patrol guys on their swamp buggies and airboats, they're not going to be able to see that where we can. In addition, we also have what we call a night sun, which is a huge light mounted to the bottom of the helicopter, and that will light the whole scene up so everyone can see. We can even shoot it down and say, hey, he's right here, and direct the ground units to the light so they can get the searcher that way.
One of the most important things is to file a float plan, and that's just a simple, it can be a formal float plan, or it can be something as simple as just letting a significant other or a family member know that where you're going, when you're going to return. Make sure that all of your safety equipment is operational. Know your boat, know your limitations, know the limitations of your boat. Make sure all those things are in place before you go, and you're not trying to figure that out when the emergency is happening.
We hope you've enjoyed our program, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you for being our partner for a safe community.